IVM.
Hello, welcome to Football Twaddle. My name is Saru, the usual gang. Baru is
What is up?
And Yash.
Hi, what's up?
Oh God, yes, so much confidence in you that you would come. We had to try and track Baru down, and he's been like saying no to two people on WhatsApp. So if Gaude, you're listening to this, you've been, I don't know what, bamboozled. Whatever.
By the suddenness.
The suddenness.
The audacity. All right. So, as always, what we do in this podcast is we try to make it a non-Arsenal podcast, but it just so happens that that club is a lifestyle club and it always gives content. So, we can't just escape it. So, Tanuj Baru, the first question to you is, Hector Bellerin has finally planted trees.
He looks so disappointed about it.
So, do you know where he planted trees?
Mira Road looks pretty green nowadays.
Okay. And did
I
you
have
see
no idea, man. Probably like East Salford or something.
I don't know, dude, but he's planted trees. I think this is a good cause. And you think, is that the reason why people are letting Arsenal win now?
I don't know, man. Because, see, from what we have tried at our workplace when you plant trees, at the end of 1 month, it's just like a 70% drop in the number of trees that survive.
What are you saying?
That survive, yeah.
What sort of horrible place do you work at that they can't even water the plants?
No, not at a workplace. Like from the CSR activities, you give it to some NGOs or whatever those things are called. Organizations are called.
Well, let's link it to Bellerin fast. We need to move on to Guendouzi.
Let's just start with Guendouzi then. Bellerin has done a good job. Let's go ahead. We're starting today. I mean, we are recording before the match.
Yes. We're recording this right after the Chelsea game. So the Chelsea versus Crystal Palace game, which Chelsea somehow won. We don't know how.
Cahill.
So yeah, let's get to that. But let's finish off with this Arsenal talk. Guendouzi, why? What happened? In 6 months, he was the blue-eyed boy. Then he became David Luiz lookalike. Then you guys tried separating him from David Luiz, saying that he's the good guy, and now you want to kick him out of the club. What's with the transitions?
Yeah, they had to separate them. Otherwise, it would have had like a Velcro effect or something. David Luiz and Guendouzi.
But
anyway,
but what happened? Why? Why did he become this horrible person?
There were 2 or 3 incidents that have happened over the year. I think even in pre-season, he had a fight with a teammate and staff. During the season, they were training ground upsets with another team player. And in the last Brighton match, which I think was for Arteta, the final nail in Guendouzi's coffin, was when he was taunting Brighton players about how much they earn. When it turns out, I think some tabloid later on actually got their salaries out, and the people he was taunting were actually earning more than him. So he was on 70 and Mope was on 80,000 a week. So it was just very weird. I think he didn't get the brief that you're playing an EPL side. It's not a League Cup match again. Where you're probably facing off against United FC or FC United.
Man. Yash, before we get back to Guendouzi talk, you think this explains Ozil's longevity in that club, that he doesn't take panga with anyone?
Yeah, I mean, I guess he has bigger fish to fry. Like, he wants to fight with China and stuff.
China.
Or his Turkish brothers.
Support Turkey. What does he call? He calls Ugyur, I think, East Turkestan.
East Turkestan.
It is.
Yeah, they like that.
Dude, not just him. Even they call themselves that. China is trying to not call it that. That's the only difference.
Yeah, China just tried to make the sound they make when they're disgusted looking at them. Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah, lame Russell Peters attempt, but we have budding comedians here. All right, so Guendouzi, I also read in the Athletic that that's where I get all my information. That he had the same problem at his previous club as well. So he was taunting people even in the previous club.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. I mean,
Loria.
I don't read The Athletic because it's trash. I prefer more
you have my password.
respectable sites like Daily Mirror.
All right. So what Daily Mirror telling about that?
Daily Mirror have completely ignored him. They're focusing on Aubameyang's new fashion shoot. And that is their basis of the article, which says that Aubameyang is signed a new contract.
Oh, okay. But what is the basis? I don't know what the fashion shoot only was about.
They spent money on a fashion shoot for Arsenal's new lineup for next season. So their point is, if Arsenal is including him in all of these photos, that must mean that he is.
God, man.
Wow.
I mean, tabloids have lesser memory than us. Remember when all the Chelsea superstores had David Luiz photo, and then he went to Arsenal, and then they had to remove all of them.
Yeah, and not immediately also, because they just weren't sure. He's saying yeah.
Yeah, they waited for 2 days.
And it's not like they have a lookalike whom they can pass off like Arsenal.
Yeah, no. So Chelsea guys got confused. Abey, no, this is not David Luiz. This guy's called Guendouzi. All right. Talking of snakes, Yash Andres Pereira. Why is he telling people?
No, wait. If Guendouzi goes, where do you think he should go? Because I have an answer to that.
Okay, wait. Tell us.
Whichever team Mourinho is coaching, because he fights these players fighting with each other beautiful.
No, but
what was that about, man?
No. So let's just get into this Mourinho thing. About 2-3 things, right? So one is that Arsenal. Why is he fighting with Arsenal social media guys? I don't know. He said, "I'm waiting for them." He'll be quite disappointed when Arsenal players turn up and the social media team is not in the stadium. The second thing was they asked him about Eric Dyer. And Eric Dyer was supposed to get a ban or FA hearing when he went to the crowd and everything. So Mourinho's answer was, I believed before that Eric Dyer was going to get a fine or a ban. But after seeing Guendouzi hold people's throat and being let off, I think Eric Dyer should be let off. FA has given a clear indication holding throat is not nothing great. So,
that just means that Mourinho has been keeping an eye on Guendouzi for quite a while.
Yeah.
So Savant actually might be on something over here.
Yeah, and plus, I mean, of course, when was it? Yesterday when Spurs were playing, wherever they were playing, and Lloris and this fellow got into a fight.
Oh, yeah. His answer was like, that was beautiful.
That was beautiful.
Do we even know why that has happened? Like, people are saying it's because of the Richarlison.
No. What happened was, from every backstory you hear, after they lost to Sheffield, they had a very personal and heart-to-heart conversation where Mourinho is supposed to have told the players, look, you guys have to start demanding more of each other. Otherwise, this is not going to work. So
after they lost to?
Sheffield. The previous game, before the Everton one, they lost 3-1 to Sheffield.
Okay.
So the players also took it on board and they also had a heart-to-heart and they said, yeah, we have to work for each other and everything. So what happened at the Sheffield game was Son missed his runners like thrice and it resulted in almost 3 Sheffield goals. So in the 45th minute, Son just ran for no reason. Richarlison got the ball and Son didn't track back. And Harry Kane was running to track back. So Hugo Lloris got angry and he confronted Son, basically saying, what the man, you doing the same shit again? That was the whole point.
And Son would be like, you guys are talking in English. I have no idea what you guys are talking about anyway.
Yeah, can I get some Korean pancakes? Oh, on a side note, there was a time when I used to be part of an organization which used to run restaurants. So we used to have Korean pancakes as a dish. So Zomato guys were selling some shit to us. So we bought the Zomato subscription for customers or something. And we didn't realize in the next week we were in the shortlist for the best Korean restaurants in the city. Oh yeah, so that was the whole Mourinho, Son and Hugo Lloris thing. But I don't know if Mourinho even will appreciate Guendouzi going there. He's already having problems with defensive structures. Okay, so let's get to other snakes. Andres Pereira. Yes, why is he telling everyone that they are injured?
Well, he probably thinks that that's where Solskjaer gets his team news from, so that he gets a chance to play.
What was that whole story, man? It was just so bizarre.
Man, that was either a prank or it just was, I don't know, a slow news day in football.
Did you hear about this, Baru?
Training ground bust up.
What
collision.
What is this new Daily Mirror you're reading? Are you creating Daily Mirror?
And they said that they got it from Andreas Pereira or something.
Yeah.
Is this the same one?
I think this is the first time a newspaper has written, look, we got this information from you. So just to tell the seriousness of this,
right.
When Brett Kavanaugh there were Supreme Court hearings for his induction into the Supreme Court of the United States, right? A lifelong tradition. And Bob Woodward, he's like a big journalist. He had a news story which had nailed down Brett Kavanaugh as a source. Like, it would have brought down Brett Kavanaugh and he had nailed down a source sort of a thing. But he had to reveal the source in his story. They killed that story, right?
Ooh.
They didn't want to reveal the source because it's their policy that they don't reveal their sources whatsoever. But clearly Daily Mail has no such issues.
Of course not.
They're like, look, we didn't... Yes, what's the reaction at the training ground the day after?
Maybe it was like a strategic move to surprise their opponents. This is the only thing he's useful for, right? I mean, he's such a useless player that he can be only useful for spreading such rumors.
All right. Talking about useless and becoming useful, there was a guy called Nemanja Matic at Manchester United who was deemed useless for such a long time.
Man.
And oh my God, the abuses he used to get. And now he signs a year contract.
3 years.
3 years.
3 years.
Oh God, he's 30 or 31, no?
He's 31.
Yeah, 31.
Oh, so 3 years. That's a huge deal. So till 30.
I thought United had a similar policy in place like Arsenal.
Yeah, older than 30, they don't get
United are still renewing Solskjaer's contract year on year.
I think they're just a bit maybe.
They were defending it by saying that, there's no salary rise in this. We're going to pay him the same and it's just asset protection.
What asset are they protecting?
Whatever, they'll sell him for 5 million or something for Qatar, some Qatari club or MLS, wherever.
They're already eventually. Xavi, is it?
Yeah, something like that.
I hope
Xavi's renewed his contract too.
I hope we get to meet them in Qatar at the World Cup. Oh God, imagine Baru, we are walking on a flyover and we suddenly start running towards cameravans.
Oh man.
Nemanja!
We'll actually be at home because it'll be like a virtual World Cup or something.
Oh, Messi.
2022.
Messi was a Ronaldo, FIFA 2022. In that also, who is a GOAT will start. All right, we should. Before that,
the Euro's happening next year now.
Yes,
but they're sticking to Euro 2020.
Yes, they're calling it Euro 2020.
Like Tokyo 2020.
Yeah, imagine Cristiano Ronaldo is the only guy to have retained a European Championship for 5 years. That's the power of that human being. All right. Before we take a break, I just read a short thing on Daily Mail. Obviously, yes, is that make up your mind. Borussia Dortmund gives Manchester United August 10 ultimatum to decide £100 million move for Jadon Sancho. Claim, build, or the deal is off. Do you know anything about this?
Yeah, I have read the same stories. And I don't know anything about it, but I have an opinion. Like, just pay the money and get him.
Yeah, they did the same natak for Bruno Fernandes in the beginning of the season.
Yeah, for everyone. When they drag it out and they never manage to bargain the price down. So,
yeah,
pretty useless.
Woodward can't bargain anything. It doesn't even do the basic bargaining. Na tera, na mera. Midway.
I mean, there was some stupid story about which side that United aren't willing to pay him more than 50, which is just nonsense.
No, if you're not, then you should just call it off. No, what are you waiting for? Just say we can't and just move on to the next guy. Arsenal will pick him up on loan.
I think he'd rather stay at Dortmund.
All right, we should take a break right now. After the break, we will talk about Chelsea and what else? We've already spoken of the big clubs. So we have Manchester City, Chelsea, these boring clubs to talk about. So let's do, and let's also evaluate these new jerseys which are coming out. Baru, do you know anything about them?
Whose jerseys? Chelsea?
Sarun ke.
Saru ke?
Every team's jersey.
Yeah, sure. We'll talk about it.
All right. Please stick around to Football Total.
Hey everybody, welcome to another awesome week on the IVM Podcast Network. If you're not following us on social media, please do. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. We'd like to thank our sponsors this week, Paytm Money and Intel. Their support makes this content possible. So, been a really exciting week on the network this week. We've had some really cool stuff. My old friend Vivek Lad was on Storytellers and Storysellers. Definitely do check that out. On Cyrus Said, we had Ashwin Sanghi on Thursday's episode, and Cyrus and myself did a cock and bull, just the two of us. That was fun as well on Monday. Do check that out. Masaba was on Advertising is Dead, which was another really, really strong episode from Varun. And on the sports front, both Edges and Sledges, Football Shitball had some really fun episodes. That's the Football Twaddle. Do check those out as well. And if you haven't been paying attention and you haven't been listening to Smile India in these times, I don't know why you aren't. It's the most uplifting show that you could listen to. It's a short, bite-sized piece of really positive things that happen in India. Do definitely check that out. And with that, let's get you back to your show.
Welcome back to Football Twaddle. Yash and Baru are here. The Arsenal game is starting in a minute. Who are Arsenal playing also?
Leicester City.
Oh, so Jamie Vardy is going to score a hat-trick.
I think Iheanacho is going to score a goal or two.
Iheanacho? Oh, he started Leicester. Man, this is so confusing. All these guys keep moving clubs so fast. It just
He's been at Leicester for a while. Yaar.
He's changed just one club. He was at City. That's it.
Yeah, isn't he like 19 or something?
No, 22.
Wow, Yash is up to date on all young black people's age.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
He's the same age as Rashford. Like when Rashford emerged, all the citizens were like, "Arey, no, Iheanacho is better."
Who is the citizen you know, Yash, like in real life?
No one. Only on Twitter.
Anustup Sikdar.
Maybe.
Our friend Anustup became a City fan after Aguero's goal. From the grapevine, I heard it.
Fair enough.
Arush Dikshit, the founding father of this podcast,
Right.
He was a Liverpool fan. He was so dejected, he just became City fan.
Not a good year for him then.
No, I think he just crawled back. He said, jeet gaye. All right, so let's talk about Chris Wilder, Baru. You had some nuggets of information. I'm just so happy that I'm making you read a newspaper.
So he was pissed that Mikel Arteta was giving team talks because before the FA Cup match, everyone was given a directive to not coach during those water breaks. Mm-hmm. And he was just upset. Firstly, before these rules even came in, he was one of those guys who was against drink breaks and 5 substitutes, and so he just thinks that it's like all of these big teams ganging up and making all the decisions.
Yes, so there is a truth to it. So all the big teams are ganging up and making decisions, but I don't understand this directive and how are they ever going to implement it? That don't coach during the drinks break. Why is that? It's such a stupid thing. Like you do whatever.
Yeah, it's stupid. I mean, I'm sure the directive only exists to save time and make sure that they don't overshoot.
Yeah, and why? What is
like those pre-game hurdles before local matches where everyone prays, touches the ball, and referees like just whistling in the background.
Yeah,
and then 5 minutes later they say Jai Mata Di and let's rock. And
I mean, it's not. I mean, the sport is not like tennis where in tennis obviously coaching is not allowed from the stands.
Yeah,
but in football obviously you have your coaches on the sidelines bellowing instructions, so that's clearly not. Illegal in this game.
Yeah, instead of bellowing, now he's just whispering it into the air.
Yeah.
So anyway, his final take on this was like, if you look at these huddles, not many people are drinking. They're just sipping.
Who is going to explain to Chris Wilder that Arsenal players don't listen to Arteta?
He's actually right about this point that, I mean, it's not a game of 2 halves, it's 4 quarters now. I'm not sure how he noticed this, but it's true. But this was something the commentators pointed out, that we are noticing like goals within a minute or two of the restart, the third restart.
I mean, with the motherhood statements Chris Wilder is giving, I think before he became a coach and a player, he was a consultant at Deloitte or something.
So what Chris Wilder should do next is like make a PPT presentation and show how Messi is ignoring Kike Setien and Ronaldo is making eyes and say, oh, these are the best practices. The best players in the world are ignoring instructions because they know the rules.
But the response to that presentation would be just one slide of him giving a team talk to his team during the break.
No, the response would be that him encouraging his team to drink water. Drink more!
Yeah.
Drink more! Okay, so you touched upon a point, Yash. So now Messi doesn't listen to Kike Setien for 2 halves. He doesn't listen to 4 quarters. Why? Why is he not listening to Setien? And what did you make of Ronaldo's eye roll? You think Ronaldo did that because he read in newspaper that Messi was ignoring his coach?
Probably. I think that's a more believable story than him reading Chris Wilder's comments and then deciding not to listen to his coach.
All right. So Tanuj, Williams' contract is ending at Chelsea, and from when he's figured out that he's not re-signing with Chelsea, he's become like David Beckham, Lionel Messi, and Ronaldinho put together.
William Dino.
Willy Dino. What do you put down to this remarkable transformation of a very small human being?
Yeah, it is just he's displaying the wares in a more acceptable manner, so to speak.
Man.
Why is he suddenly playing so well now? Is he like attracting suitors?
Obviously, I mean, especially he's going for a free transfer, right?
Yes, there are only 2 clubs which are more likely to sign him, which is one is Tottenham and one is Arsenal, right?
What, he doesn't want to let go of his London mansion or something?
Yeah, something like that. And he loves London, and if Arsenal, like, I think he's mostly joining Tottenham, but Arteta is supposed to be a fan. Given what we've seen of Arteta not liking brown people and black people.
And fluffy hairs.
And yeah. I think Arteta is like one fluffy hair ghost, we need to get one in. But Williams is spiky.
He's all for representation.
All right.
Arteta, I mean, he is the kind of strict guy, if you break my rules, you're out. Otherwise, I'm your buddy, your friend.
Okay.
Because
but the
there
question...
were some videos that had come up which showed like Arsenal's FA Cup thing. And he's chilling with Bellerin, laughing around, high-fiving. And it just makes you realize that was just how recent, in the recent past, he was just a part of that, that side, that group of players.
Yeah, but I don't think whatever you're saying makes sense because we know the real reason why Arteta is so strict. That is because, Yash, Mikel Arteta admits he passes on tactics from the touchline in French and Spanish to confuse rivals. As Arsenal plots late return into Champions League places. So that is the real reason. Do you think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer falls flat in that no one understands Norwegian?
Even the players don't. That's the problem, though.
Yeah, what about the people from the north of France?
The one guy who would understand Norwegian is playing at Dortmund right now.
Oh yeah, Haaland.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess only Lindelof might come close to understanding what he's saying.
Really? Does Lindelof
Swedish and Norwegian
Does
is
Lindelof
quite
understand anything? Isn't he like the David Luiz of Manchester United?
No, dude. I don't think he's that colorful, dude. He's quite dull.
Yeah,
he's like a very run-of-the-mill centre-back.
Okay. All right, Baru. Let's talk about Liverpool a little. We did a special episode with Liverpool fans.
Oh, God.
But the 2 things we need to talk about. Oh, yes. Don't worry. I don't know if this news will make you happy. Did you guys see City's guard of honor for Liverpool?
Yeah. Lovely.
Didn't it just make you a little happy?
Who was not clapping? Bernardo Silva.
Yeah.
He just walked away, no?
Yeah.
Is United going to sign him up now?
for showing appropriate amount of disrespect towards Liverpool.
Yeah, his stock is like just gone through the roof. In the head of...
He should just say Ronaldo asked me to do that, then to sign him up.
All right. So Yash, what did you think of that guard of honor? I mean, we had Liverpool fans on our WhatsApp group saying that this is disgrace. I think Liverpool.
I mean, too much is made of this whole thing. Yeah, I mean, it's so ridiculous.
What do you mean too much is made of this whole thing? That is such an.
No, I mean, why should any team give another team a guard of honor? I mean,
कहा था ये ridicule when RVP was walking down the tunnel.
हाँ, नहीं देना था ना. Like, it's just whatever, dude. I mean, I'm not a big fan of this whole thing.
Of guard of honor.
Yeah.
I'm just glad to be friends with you, yes, Sarith.
Okay, but
why are you jumping around? Sorry.
Oh man, I'm trying to get a laptop charger.
मर जाएगा.
All right. So since that guard of honor was all shit, one question on City, just a random guess, guys. How many players is Pep Guardiola going to buy this season before the new season starts?
Isn't he like banned from buying anyone?
He's banned from playing anyone.
Yeah, he can buy
in Europe.
He's banned from just playing.
Wait, when was that announcement? Is it out?
No, it's not.
Around the middle of the month, they said so.
I'm just waiting. I've specially cut out Baru's clip of Baru telling that they are not getting any fine, any ban.
Fine, yeah, they'll take a fine, dude. I'm pretty certain. Anyway.
Oh, dude, it's not that easy. According to Saket Gokhale on Twitter, again, digression.
What?
Adani is owned by Qatar, 25% of Adani. The price of oil fell and Qatar needed money. So they jacked up our electricity prices so that Adani can pay 25% of it to Qatar.
Oh, God.
Bandra reclamation alone is propping up the economy of Qatar.
I have paid for the death of one migrant worker in Qatar. Been trying to do the stadium. Okay, fine. Baru, the 5 talking points from the Chelsea's recent win against Crystal Palace. It was as recent as 15 minutes ago. What are the 5 talking points?
Yeah, first point is that no one should have stopped when KL was crying out in pain and so yeah.
What was that incident, man?
He pulled a muscle, right? When he was chasing Willian down.
Willian.
And Willian obviously had already crossed him, so he didn't look back. And Giroud was not... I mean, Giroud had to do his job, right? He just scored the goal.
Giroud would have crossed...
Giroud is a classy player.
Dude, Giroud would have crossed Cahill in like 6 minutes or something. पता नहीं कहाँ से भाग रहा.
Maybe Willian told him that I'll pay you some money. मेरा नया contract आ रहा है, bro. Old friends. Because that was literally assist Cahill.
Yeah, it just looked like such a dive as a defender.
Yeah.
I mean, so, anyway, second talking point is boring. It's about Pulisic. Third is something that was brilliant. Probably goal of the season.
This is such a typical end of the season Zaha goal. The tabloids will be full of, he's the most valuable non-top 6 player. Who will buy him?
Tabloids are actually talking about is that the
70 million.
First goal since December.
Of which year?
And
December 2018.
Who knows?
Okay, what is the 4th talking point?
Jorginho has had a fight with Lampard.
But what is the talking point in that?
Nothing. They probably fought over how Ozil is not starting for Arsenal or something.
Oh God.
Yeah, it's a very layered discussion.
All right. What is the 5th one?
The manager thinks that Chelsea's future will take place without Jorginho. Saru, what are you going to do about this?
Oh, dude, that will be a sad day. But I don't know. What are they thinking, dude? They need someone like Jorginho. There's no
return to Syria.
He'll go to Juventus. He'll go to Juventus and Ramsey is also going to Tottenham. I think that's the story.
Whoa.
Roy Hodgson and Palace need a plan. Okay.
Okay, can you elaborate on that a little?
That seems more interesting.
Is there a plan for Palace? Are there other younger players Hodgson could blood? At the moment, they are a little in danger of going stale. And that would undo a lot of the manager's good work.
Whoa.
And next point is India-China border dispute when Atal Bihari Vajpayee drove 800 sheep.
Wait, hold on.
Embassy.
First, given that you're just reading out an article, I think it's just justice that you actually say where you like stole it from.
Yeah, attribution.
Daily Mirror.
अबे नाम तो होगा किसी ने लिखा होगा. Someone would have written it.
Oh, who wrote it? Mark Jones, senior online sports reporter.
All right.
Nice.
Okay. So, first of all, Yash, do you see any great work being done by Rod Hudson that's being undone right now?
Absolutely. Maybe. I don't know, man. There's such a mid-table team.
You answered everything possible.
Yeah. I mean, it encompasses what confusing thoughts I have about this. They seem like a sturdy team that will stave off relegation, but I mean, whatever. What is the purpose of Crystal Palace apart from smash up a few players?
Actually, there are quite a few fans of all these mid-table clubs which finished 13th, 14th. They after like 3-4 years, they just want their club to get relegated, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because they're like, at least we can go and see a win. We can aspire to win the championship. That is so much more joyous than just losing like 70% of the games to finish 15th.
See, I think we can get better insights if we get Crystal Palace
actual
Mumbai
fans
Supporters Club.
I think we should start Crystal Palace Mumbai Supporters Club. In fact, given the dearth of fans, we should just start Crystal Palace Asia.
Wait, we'll do that after we make the Newcastle Supporters Club. I mean, at least that has a
let the takeover happen first, man. Otherwise, we'll be stuck with Almiron and Joelinton.
Abe, closing a private limited company is so tough in this country. We'll get screwed.
All right.
The last thing on this, there was a report which I read, I don't know where, but Tammy Abraham basically wants a new contract with Chelsea with the same amount of money as Callum Hudson-Odoi. So he went to Frank Lampard. Apparently, Lampard is having conversation with a lot of players. So he went to Frank Lampard and he said, give me the same amount of money.
Was Jorginho still in the room?
Yeah, Jorginho like, abhi mera to khatam hone de. So he went to Lampard and said, give me the same amount of money as Hudson-Odoi. Lampard told him, at least score 2 goals and come back. We'll talk about it. He scored 1 today.
Wow.
How many did he miss?
Well, he's a born finisher according to some. So, all right, Yash, that was a nice, quick, breezy episode. There are games coming in thick and fast every day. Are you managing to watch something every day?
Yeah, something or the other I do end up watching.
And you?
So like I watched the Chelsea game today. Tomorrow, whichever game is there, I'll watch. And day after, it's the United game.
Oh, United is playing Brighton, no?
No, they're good. They were done with Brighton last time. No? They're playing Aston Villa.
Abe, that is an easy victory.
Relegation threatened team. I mean, it's now or never for them.
It's never. I think they've already they've decided never long ago.
Right.
They're thinking of the same thing. Yeah, might as well just go down in the championship, come back up.
Jack Grealish might want an audition
to Arsenal,
to wherever.
Some club that gives him new boots at least.
All right. Oi, Baru. Bye-bye.
Right. Take care.
Yes, take care. And
bye-bye.
All of you follow us on social media, whatever. I'm so lazy now that I'm just going to put it on the show notes. All right. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hi, I'm Satyajit.
Hi, I'm Racheta.
We are from the Open Library Project and we host a podcast called Paperback.
Paperback is a podcast where we engage with stalwarts and experts from various industries, suggesting non-fiction titles that contributed to their journey in a big way.
We've had guests like Anjali Raina, Dr. Marcus Rani, Dr. Swati Lodha, Ambi Parmeswaran, Apurva Damani, and many more on our show Paperback. Find new episodes every Wednesday on IVM Podcast app, website, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Remember the last vacation you took? What about the one you took 3 years ago? Okay, how much do you really remember? It's a question I've asked myself often over a decade of traveling the world. Hey, I'm Utsav and I do not travel the world for a living. I have a full-time job and responsibilities, but I have made traveling the world a priority. Priority enough that I negotiate extra leave in my job contracts, obsessively track my frequent flyer miles, and I'm willing to take off at the sight of a cheap ticket. Yes, I am cheap. I have lived and worked in 3 countries. I understand human behavior for a living. And these experiences have given me unique insights into places, people, and culture. With over a decade of travel behind me, I increasingly realized one thing. that we cannot see everything. So whatever we see, we must see deeply. Because as the film of memory decays, the imprints which will stand the test of time are the ones felt by the immersion of the senses, not by fleeting encounters with them. Postcards from Nowhere is an immersion into the world of slow travel, one story at a time. Tune in every Thursday on the IVM Podcasts app, website, or wherever you get your podcast from.